Welcome to African Women's Rugby Stories, a space where we honor the women shaping rugby across Africa. I'm Nekesa Were, your host, and today I get to sit with someone I deeply admire, Arune Hicks. Arune has been at the heart of Nondies operations, guiding it through turbulent seasons and leading it into exhilarating ones. She knows what it takes to keep a historic rugby institution going. She is a true legend of the game, and I can't wait for you to meet her. So let's kick off. So Arune, welcome.
Thank you so much, Nekesa, for having me. Like I said, this is new. I belong behind the scenes, so to be on the spotlight is different. But I'm willing to take the journey with
and
you.
I really appreciate that. I was just saying on one of our previous podcasts that for me as well, this is an uncomfortable space to be in. And just like you, I've spent a lot of my time behind office, doing doing the stuff that not everyone wants to do, but then that's just so critical to the sport to make sure that what's happening on the pitch is working the way that it should. And so definitely understand where you are, but this is our moment to share stories that I think are so critical for little girls, for women that are watching and wondering how they can engage with rugby. So welcome.
Thank you very much. And if there's no discomfort, there's no growth.
Exactly. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So let's start with why rugby? Like, how did you get in? Who drew you in? What drew you in? What's keeping you there?
Many things, many different aspects. And in school, I don't know if you know the composition of Musangari, Loreto Convent Musangari, and St. Mary's School. Mm-hmm. So we were sister and brother school.
Yeah.
And as you grow from combing your doll's hair to then growing up, you eventually then come to the boys part. Mm-hmm. And so I was actually thinking about it when I was about the podcast, and I was like, actually, I can't pinpoint it, but there were two things. So rugby was gaining popularity in the schools, and St. Mary's was playing rugby. Mm-hmm. And you wouldn't believe it. The first thing I remember was everybody buzzing about this drop-dead gorgeous guy called Sashko. And I know the one and only Sashko we all know.
Oh, okay.
And so everybody kept on like, oh my God, this guy is playing rugby. Yeah. And so, of course, now all the girls went to
You're saying
the
people,
rugby
was
page.
it you as well?
Yeah, I mean, see, all of us, see everybody. I mean, if we're all buzzing about boys and
That's
we all
true.
Decide it's one boy who's the cute boy.
He's the one, yeah.
And so everybody kept on talking about Sashko and everything. And so we'd end up crossing over. So, I mean, when any team was playing in St. Mary's, mm-hmm. then Musongari, and the games were at 4:30. So we would then end up going to watch the games.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I remember. The next thing I remember was my brother Alan mm-hmm. being, being part playing.
Yeah.
And we then got in trouble as Musongari girls mm-hmm. going to these games and that kind of thing. But I was saved because I had a brother. So I had every reason to be in sense being picked up from mm-hmm. school.
Yeah.
Whereas some of my friends got in trouble because they didn't have any association with St. Mary's. But that is where it started. Mm-hmm. I also remember one of my high school boyfriends was a Changerian, a boy from Lenana. And Lenana played St. Mary's, and that game ended.
How did that go?
3-0, and Saints won.
That was close.
Yes. So those are my first memories. Then the other thing is I have one sibling, unlike a lot of people who have 3 sisters, 4 brothers. Mm-hmm. So I only have Alan. Mm-hmm. So as much as he went through all my boy issues and my girl issues, I went through his rugby issues. So I, in turn, just would be there to support him through St. Mary's, into Nondies, mm-hmm. and then in his shadow now created my own story out of rugby.
Yeah. And so how does your, so Hicksy walks you into Nondies, but then what happens after that? Because I mean, you were honorary secretary for two terms.
Yes.
So that's 4 years. That's a long time. What keeps you there?
So maybe your question is, so in me supporting Alan, I mean, I watched all the St. Mary's, the Saints games, and then he then moved into Nondies. And I mean, I like rugby. Maybe the other thing that holds me to rugby is I was brought up with boys. So I have I'm a tomboy tendency. So you wouldn't find me playing netball. I'd rather be watching Formula One and rugby. And I'm an adrenaline junkie as well. So fast-paced things. So that's why I've actually stuck to it. I enjoy it and just grown with it as well. Yeah.
So just so anyone watching can understand, when you're the honorary secretary of a club, what does that mean?
So I think, and as we were chatting before we started, it's there's no manual for it. So it's for you to embrace the position and deal with what you find in the club. So fine, we started off with meetings and that kind of thing, trying to put in structures. And by the time I joined in 2016, there was the disconnect between the old Nondies and the new Nondies. So one of our first things was to try and connect the old with the new. And there was a disconnection somewhere. It's why did it happen? How did it happen? And how can we fix it? So there was the boardroom constitution part where we pass legislation, improve legislation, but then there was also what can I do as a person? And for me, I felt I wanted the playing unit to be felt and heard. So I dedicated once a week. So training for clubs in Kenya is Tuesdays and Thursdays or Mondays and Wednesdays. So I committed that one day in a week, and it was usually a Thursday, that I would sit with the boys through their training so that they know they're not alone. Whatever they experience, whether we were rained on, whether we had no food to eat at the end of training, we all dealt with it together so that the playing unit doesn't feel alone. There's someone in management. So even on tour, wherever it is, we went together so that they knew someone from management, someone is with us. For me, that was my personal...
I love that. I love that. I actually joined the Queen's Exco as a co-opted member to run special projects. And one of the projects that I picked up was our player welfare program. And just like you, for me, it was just what I felt that I was called to do, to make sure that the players were okay, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch. And when I transitioned into honorary secretary, I refused to drop it. And so it's still something that I do within my docket as honorary secretary of Queen's. No, I just love that. That's something that you are called to do as well. I feel it's really critical. The game doesn't exist without the players. And so
there is no
game without the players, right? And so it's really important that we make sure that they have everything they need, to the extent that we can, obviously, as community clubs, that they have everything they need to keep the game going. So you've begun speaking a little bit about culture at Nondies, and some things that were happening and weren't happening anymore, and so on. How would you describe the Nondies culture now?
So picking up, I guess I'm in the unique position, being part of Nondies by extension through Alan as he was playing, and that's when the culture was strongest. And then when Alan's age group, Alan's age kind of left, then that's where the disconnect was. So I know that part, and then it's meeting people in the current state where we are being pushed to professionalism, semi-professionalism, and that kind of thing. And that's one of the things Aoka, my dear chairman, and I and the rest of the committee had to sit and agree. We said we choose to remain a community club,
Yeah.
and we will not pay players. We want people to come and play in Nondies because they love rugby. And Alka always says this thing, for rugby's sake.
Yeah.
And I really love that statement, as in, if nothing else, for rugby's sake. So for me, so one of the things we did was to write a new document, like a 5-year strategic plan. And so I'm going to make my own, but it's part of what our 5-year strategic plan then said. It Reddit. So Reddit means respect, enjoyment, discipline, dedication, and teamwork. So REDT. Yeah.
Love it. And some of those actually values of rugby worldwide.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I guess Nondies must have been doing something right, because you guys celebrated 100 years. Was it 3 years ago?
2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Excitement.
Yeah.
I mean, we have bragging rights of being the most successful and the oldest. And maybe to touch on Paul Okongo, who was trying to write the history of rugby in Kenya. You cannot write the history of rugby in Kenya without Nondies.
It's true.
Yet Nondies holds all the information. So because of some of the older Nondies players and Nondies friends, to mention Bill Cherry, who knows the value of collecting items, collecting pictures. And so he has really pushed us to take team pictures and that kind of thing. So Paul had to come to Nondies to write Kenya history. So that is one of the things that we hold, one part of the history of this country solely in our hands, in our players. And I think to be able to look back at 100 years and see similarities and differences, and that we still want to fight to keep the red tea, I think is special. But I think what also some people would say clouded the 100 years was the relegation.
Yeah.
And for me, I disagree. I think it was the right thing that happened at the right time.
Wait, before we get there, again, well, first of all, I don't know if people understand when we say that Nondies is 100 years old. There's probably some people who first interacted with Nondies when they came for Mbachi's cookout. Was it called a cookout?
Yes, so the cookout 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm sure there's guys that went and queued up. That queue went on from was it 12 p.m. to 7, 8 p.m. Guys were queuing up to taste his food.
Yes.
I bet there's people in that queue who didn't realize was rugby going on the pitch. So for anyone that didn't realize that there were Nondies because they were tasting Mbachi's food, that was Nondies. And there was it's 100-year-old club. I think, I don't know how to express it. It's difficult as a community club to be so consistent and have such buy-in from your members that you thrive for 100 years. That history must be so rich. And I wonder if the players appreciate it. Is it something that, do you have conversations with the players about their history?
So that is part of what we chose as a committee to do, is to re-engage the older players who are interested in giving back in some way, shape or form. It's like, come to training. If the current players are throwing the ball in a certain way, change it. Come. As in, that was the way we were like, we're going to bridge that disconnection. Have even so some of the players, if they're not available during the week, to come and speak to the guys during training, in the huddle before the game, the Kenya Cup game on a Saturday, come and spend time with the guys after the game, before the formalities or during the formalities, just be in touch with the current playing team. And I also then challenged people, because I had the same question. It's like, okay, how are you here? I'm here from my brother Alan. So they're like, okay, we've seen his name on the board. So I'm like, go and find him. and speak to him.
Yeah.
And like 2 or 3 people would then engage Alan. And in the same way, it's, I'm struggling. I want to be a flanker. Go and find an older flanker.
Yeah.
Speak to the flanker. Speak to the fullback. And that way, we are slowly drawing the older team, the older Nondies, members, players back in. Some of our board members, Clive, the Evans brothers, who are very famous, white from Kisumu, like he was complaining about our passing and everything. So I challenged him. I said, can you please come on Tuesday and Thursday and show the guys how to pass? And he actually eventually came down and now participated. And in that way, that connection is remade. Where they reconnect. So the younger guys may be feeling shy, but Clive is able to talk to them and communicate with them. Then the next time you meet Clive, you have something to talk about.
Yeah.
And the reconnection is made.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. And this, you might appreciate this analogy since you do so much work with the Gong Forest Association. I'm thinking about it as a tree.
Yeah.
And that every little bit of that tree has a purpose, whether you're the leaves, the canopy right at the top, whether you're the branches, whether you're the trunk, or whether you're the roots. Like each component of that tree has a function. And for me, a club and its membership and its players is very similar. Whether you're the coach, the team manager, the player, or a member, whether you played last year or 10, 20, 50 years ago, there's a role for you to play.
Absolutely.
And so what's touching my heart is just that the members understand that they need to come back. That's the only way that community clubs thrive.
Yes.
If the members understand that they need to continue engaging with the current team.
Yeah.
So that's great. Let's talk about this relegation. What is relegation and what happened?
So maybe even as we discussed me coming on the podcast and me thinking back, I actually, in my own opinion, I think we were actually prepared for it. And I thought back to 2018, and I think 2018 was when we were at our lowest. And I remember we were training for the 7th circuit. And so we had new players from Black Blood and Kenyatta University and other clubs. So there were transfers and people were grumbling. The playing unit was grumbling. And we were like, what do we do? So me, the doer, the person who's practical, if it were up to me, I'd have closed Nondies that day and gone home. Because I remember that day, it was a Saturday, we were doing pre-season training, and I mean, the guys had been running and lifting weights and doing everything for 4 hours. And between us all, we had no money for lunch, nothing. And me, I was like, I can't make someone come and train and
have nothing.
Yeah. But we sat the boys down because they were also grumbling. So we sat the boys down and I told them that day, fine, we will not close this club, but you can only come and play for Nondies because you love rugby. If your reason is to find a job or my friend is here or to drink alcohol or whatever, that's the wrong reason. So today make a decision that I want to play rugby. And if that's the answer to your question, this is the right place to be. So we didn't close the doors, but then that conversation filtered out the other people who were there for different reasons. And through that 7th season, we kept on being relegated, you know, as you go to each tournament. And Alka behind my back would then go and ask his other chairman for an invitation to the next one. And so I caught on after 2, and I sat him down and I told him, if you ask for another invitation for Nondies, I will walk away from this club and never come back. And I said, if we're relegated, we've been relegated for a reason. So we need to stay there and feel the pain down there. And we will rise very quickly and say we don't. And sure enough, so Ka actually accepted, and he was like, fine, I don't want to lose my secretary because I'll have to answer so many questions. Let me do as she says. And sure enough, we played one tournament in championship, and the boys themselves said, never, ever again. The reffing, the pitches, the other teams they met, they were like, So that answered. But those relegations then prepared us. And it was so funny. We laughed with Aoka. We were like, there's no club to invite you back to Kenya Cup. So in that way, I feel we were prepared. And I also remember in one of the huddles after one of the games, the new coach then, Callum, said, we must cultivate a winning culture.
Yep.
And that season that we were relegated, it was a season of 8 losses. And so for me, from 2018, it's like it was coming. We don't want to face it. We're in denial.
Yeah.
All those things. But then it eventually happened. And then when you're in relegation, you're like, okay, so what do we do? And that's why I say we prepared. So that conversation from Callum, the relegations in the 7th circuit, and it was like, championship is another animal on its own.
Yes, it is.
And so going in, we had said as the technical team, as the executive, we were like, we've been relegated. So what do we do to get back?
Yeah.
So I think all that had prepared us for the relegation rather than finding ourselves in it. So whether we were in denial or not, this was now the rock bottom. And the rock bottom of the bottom, the only way is up.
Yeah.
And we then, I think that also prepared the players. It was, we can't be in championship. We can't go there. So it's, what do you do? And we agreed as the technical team, the playing unit, and the executive, we will only be in championship for 1 season.
Wow.
And so we went from a season of 8 losses to winning the championship, which is what we won in our 100th year, to a season of 8 wins. And for me, I keep remembering what Callum said, we must create a winning culture.
Yeah. That is so powerful. And it feels as though celebrating 100 years was, yes, it's an opportunity to take stock, but it feels almost destined that you'd be relegated and then win the championship to get back up.
Yeah.
It almost feels like a turning point, for the club.
Yeah.
And I know since then there's been new leadership and so on. But speaking of leadership, and before I get into you as a leader, you've mentioned this name, Aoka, several times.
Yeah.
Tell me about Aoka. I mean, I know Aoka, and even when in my interview, I mentioned Aoka and how he basically held my hand into Kenya Rugby Union.
Yeah.
And I mean, a part of this podcast is around shouting out our allies and really giving them the recognition that they deserve, because we probably wouldn't be where we are without them, or they've made that path a lot easier to walk. So tell me your Aoka story.
Well, I mean, I know Aoka from being a player. So he played with Alan. And so he's just someone I grew in the club knowing.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's full of life, as in I've never seen Aoka annoyed. And even when he's annoyed, he's laughing or saying something funny. And he's taught me, he's the visionary. And I then learned in my work with him that he's the visionary, I'm the doer, I'm the executor. And so he has done so much to just put Kenya's sport in the limelight. Through his work with MultiChoice, his own company, Live I Now, and he just loves people and what sport brings out in people.
Yeah. We like Aoka.
Yes. I don't think there's anyone who doesn't like him. Even when I'm upset, he's like, Arune, you're upset,
okay, but now
but we're laughing about it. And and I mean, I never saw him upset or anything. And even if he's a visionary, he's still a fixer. It's like, this club can't close. This team has to go to Mombasa, has to go on this tour, and move the high heavens
Make it
and
happen.
everything and make it happen.
Yeah, you make things happen as well.
Yes, but more more practical, reasonable.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what's
vision.
needed sometimes. And I got the opportunity to work with you, obviously, when we were on the local organizing committee for the Legends game, the Kenya leg.
Yeah.
You're a good leader, Arune. Well, you're a fantastic leader. I mean, you get your hands dirty and you get things done. And that's what I really appreciated about working with you, was that I knew at the end of the day, come rain, come shine, we're going to pull off this Legends game and it's going to be fantastic with you leading the team. So it was an incredible experience working with you.
Thank you.
How much of that, or let me rephrase, what has rugby taught you as an individual, as a leader, as someone that runs business and so
on? It's taught me life. Mm-hmm. And dealing with people of different generations. So there's the playing unit and there's the older guys. Mm-hmm. The older guys not understanding why we need what is strength and conditioning, why do we need an S&C coach? The younger guys calling you and saying, I don't have bus fare, I'm not coming for training. So it just teaches you about life, and it's how do you manage? Mm-hmm. And one thing I think people lose in rugby especially is there's thousands of people watching you on the pitch, but there's also thousands of people watching you off. Mm. So we must take responsibility for who we are. Yep. And what we do, because there's somebody, some little girl, some little boy somewhere aspiring to be you. Yeah. So be I'm not going to say do and don't, but be responsible. When your daughter or son behaves like this, it'll be what you showed them. So be responsible for that generation that's coming up. Definitely. And so you asking about being a leader, there's this book that I came across, and it embodies, so it's about the All Blacks in the Richie McCaw and Dan Carter time. Yeah. And what I love about this book is that it is our time. We lived through this era. Mm. So for me, I found that it was much easier for me to relate to the book and to relate to what was happening, because people discuss football, rugby, and that kind of thing. And there's like hours and hours of analysis. And this book is an easy read, and it just touches on rugby being a lifestyle. And for me, that's what Nondies is. Nondies is a lifestyle, rugby is a lifestyle. Yeah. And the book summarizes at the back what leadership is. And I'd just like to read them to you. So the first, it says, sweep the sheds. Never be too big to do the small things that need to be done. Mm. Number 2, go for the gap. When you're on top of your game, change your game. Mm-hmm. Number 3, play with purpose. The why. Yep. Number 4, pass the ball. Leaders create leaders. Mm-hmm. Number 5, create a learning environment. Leaders are teachers. Mm-hmm. Number 6, follow the spearhead. Number 7, embrace expectations. Aim for the highest cloud. Mm-hmm. Number 7, train to win. Practice under pressure. And for me, that's critical. We never really do that. Yeah. Let me continue. Number 8, keep a blue head. Control your attention. Mm-hmm. Number 10, know thyself. Keep it real. Number 11, sacrifice. Find something you would die for and give your life for it. Mm. Number 12, invent a language. Sing your world into existence. Love it. Number 13, ritualize to actualize. Create a culture. Yep. Number 14, be a good ancestor. Plant trees you'll never see. Mm. And the last one is write your legacy. This is your time. So I think your leadership question has been answered in, But what's the book? What's the title? Who's the author? So it's Legacy, What the All Blacks Can Teach Us About Business and Life by James Kerr. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nice. Love it. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. But I still want you to tell me
a little bit more about you as a leader and in the rugby space. And I mean, it doesn't pay, right? It doesn't pay to run a club, to run tournaments. It doesn't pay. And yet we keep going back. And you're held in such high regard by the players, by the tech bench, by the ex-core. What is it?
I said I like speed. I'm a boys person. I like things that boys do, and rugby is it. And for me, when I commit to something, it's either 0 or 110. There's nothing in between. And so it's just something I've always done, I've always liked. And now more than ever, like even in the 7th circuit, it's so nice to go to the 5 to the circuit and see our superstars rise, mature, make mistakes, fumble on the way, get to a big club, make a mistake, get to the world stage. And so, and it's just seeing growth and seeing how people evolve is just it. Yeah. I don't really know why I do. I just do. And it's been what, I mean, we have this saying that Saturday is a rugby day. For me, Saturday has always been a rugby day. So unless there's something absolutely taking me away, it's automatic. I'll be at Nondies or following Nondies wherever they are, in Kakamega, in Nakuru, in Mombasa, or here. Yeah.
So you say it's been a week of training and someone really pissed you off. Maybe one of the players, let's say former player, really pissed you off because they're like, I've been playing for Nondies for 5 years. I now want to get paid. And so it's frustrating to hear conversations like that. So then you go home, go to bed, wake up, and you pray, and then you come back. Why?
I'm committed to it. It's part of me. Yeah,
it's part of you.
Yeah, okay. I don't really have one thing or the other.
No, I know. I also don't have the words for it.
It's just something I've always done, and I continue to enjoy it. I mean, there are people who don't know themselves and maybe do things because other people do it, but I love rugby for the culture, even just the technicality of it, and it's just enjoyment. Sports is enjoyment, and the sport I choose is rugby.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. It's I think it's one of the things that you read out or that you said earlier. It's not for, you're not doing it for anyone. You're doing it for the club, right? And so it's really about being connected, feeling connected to the club, or feeling connected to a mission or a vision of a club, or that kind of keeps you going. I think if we were doing it for anyone, we wouldn't still be in the game. I don't think so.
Correct.
Yeah. So there's some passion. There's some passion there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess 2 more questions. What do you want to be remembered for within the rugby space, or just generally? What kind of legacy do you want to leave?
So thinking of that question, I say positive influence. Let me paint a picture. Somebody comes to you at 17, comes to the club and says, I want to play.
Yeah.
Irrespective of what the reason is, how you receive him, how you nurture him, creates a person of the future. So how you handle, what you do with this person molds this person and the world ahead of us.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just producing better Nondies players for a better world. Yeah.
Wow.
So maybe I'll give you an example. There was a time I was with the guys at training, and some of the older Nondies guys had produced had made available a boardroom for them to just do some practice for interviews and everything.
Yep.
And I found them teasing one of them. This guy had said, I have understand. And they were laughing. And I said, guys, this is what will make you or break you in an interview. How can we do this better? So one of them then said, oh, you should have said, I have understood. So for one person to say, I have understand to I have understood, if he remembers that at his interview and gets the job, I will have done my good deed for the day.
Yeah.
And in the same breath, I was speaking to Branchy recently, and Branchy was complaining, these Gen Zs, these guys of the playing unit, he's like, I can't understand them. They don't talk to me. I can't understand the language, the slang and everything. And I was like, they speak to me in English. And he turned around and he was like, what? He was like, how is that possible? So again, there seems to be an unspoken thing about, and that's why I say I'm not necessarily the right person to say, how do you lead? So did they discuss and say they'll speak to Arune in English or not? So again, if it improves his English to help him in an interview to get a job, I've done my part.
Yeah.
As little as it is, if he's able to improve his English language because he chose to speak to me in English, or they agreed as a team or as a playing unit.
Yeah.
Positive influence.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I think we don't appreciate enough the kind of influence that we could have over players, especially when we are in leadership roles.
Yeah.
It's a whole other generation now. And sometimes we assume that they've learned things the way we learned them, or that their life and career trajectories will take off the way ours did. And some of us perhaps have had access to more resources than others.
Yeah.
And so, at least for me, it's been really interesting to get to know individual players, what drives them, what their insecurities are, and what kind of support that they need. And for some, it will be an internship or a job, or someone to learn how to drive, someone to take courses to learn how to use a computer. It's really a broad spectrum of things. And when you're working with a club, you really do have to pay attention to those little nuances that make that player a lot better off the pitch, which you then find translates to how they then perform on the pitch.
Yeah.
So I feel like the role that people like you play is really critical in growing players. Yeah.
And something else I like to ask people with this regard is the 100 bob question.
What's the 100 question?
So it's Tuesday and it's time for training.
Yeah.
And so maybe let's make it 200 bob. So you have 200 bob.
Yeah.
I really like asking players, what will you do with the 200 bob? Do you eat before training? Do you take a bus, public transport to training?
Yeah.
Does it buy you a beer after training? Does it buy you your meal after training?
Yeah.
And you then find the generation now, walking is not a concept that they know. Yet when Alan was a rugby player, people walked half the day
to get to training. Yeah.
So even when Kevin Were, the Nondies TM, is being told, I don't have bus fights, those ones of, you should have started walking at 3 p.m. You'll get here at 6 p.m. and you'll have done your warm-up. But someone's looking at you like, what? So I like to ask people, I'm like, so, and you see, there's no right answer to what to do with the 200 bob.
Yes.
You need energy for the training. You could have walked and that's your warm-up and you'll be fine. You could save it for the beer. You may not be fed after training. Maybe that's what's critical.
Yeah.
So and there's no right or or wrong answer.
That's
But there are different things.
Yeah.
So in Alan's generation with the Pablos, like I was talking to Pablo, and Pablo said there's actually one day he walked from his dad's place in Kahawa West to get to training. But you tell one of the players now, even to walk from
times have changed.
Queens to Nondies, they'll be looking at you like, are you crazy?
Times have changed.
It then gives you, if you walk to training, then it gives you one less thing to haggle as to how to use the job.
Yeah. That's a fantastic lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to try that with the Queen's players and see how it goes.
And you get maybe 15 different answers.
Yes.
Each player will have a different thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, you've got to think about it, and that's what creates character. It was my love for rugby. I need to be at training no matter what. So whether I'm going to walk, whether I'm going to beg, whatever I'm going to do, for me, getting to my training,
that's
to be selected for the first 15 is my goal.
Yeah.
How do you get there?
Love it. Love it. My last question.
Yes.
Who else should be in this sit? I mean, as you know, the podcast is about amplifying the stories of women across Africa that are growing the game.
Yeah.
It's also about showcasing the allies and giving the allies space to be seen and heard as well, because they make our paths that much easier to walk.
Yeah.
So who else do you think I should have a conversation with?
The players' mothers. Me being Alan's sister, the sisters.
The sisters.
The girlfriends.
The girlfriends.
And some of the other women in rugby, like our Kenya Lionesses.
Who are doing extremely well now, right?
How have they ended up there? Was it a choice? Were they influenced by the Shujaa?
Yeah.
So and you get thousands of, as in
lots of stories.
Yes, as in you can have the podcast for the rest of your life and not.
I don't know about the rest of my life. I just start with the 12 episodes and then let's see what happens.
but I would be interested in, and I think you were also saying before we started was it felt safe. Your mom said it was a safe place and she was comfortable that your brother was at rugby, knew the people there, and it was a safe place.
Yep.
And there's good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's how life is.
That's how life is.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We're going to close on that note. That's how life is. Thank you so much, Arune. This has been fantastic.
Thank you for having me. And I hope I continue. The podcast will positively influence somebody else.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.